Hello and welcome to this Long Island weather update and outlook. Another really windy day again today after the snow yesterday. And a lot of the snow is already going away. You can see it looks like a lot of it's actually gone from the New Jersey Pine Barrens already looking at the satellite. They've been dealing with some cirrus off to the south that's kind of just been moving along there. For us, we've had mostly sunny skies and very windy conditions once again today. Um, let's talk about yesterday because obviously we had the snow yesterday and I covered it. But I want to just talk about it was crazy some of the amounts that happened over New Jersey. But I want to cover some of these snow squalls that happened. Actually, there were a couple of good snow showers, almost what you call snow squalls that happened over Long Island. This is from the Hamptons.com webcam. I captured this, and you can see what looks like almost a cumulonimbus over there, and low, definitely some low-topped cumulonimbus clouds here. This was yesterday, right? Not today. But we're going to show. I speed it up a little bit so you can see them in the. Here we go. Speed it up here. Have this sped up a little bit so you can see them approaching. These snow squalls were in the afternoon, I think around 4 o'clock or so. 3, 4 o'clock that hit the east end. They never issued a snow squall warning for these, but they probably should have because you can clearly see them moving in here. And again, really impressive. We didn't get any of this. Unfortunately, we didn't get this in Nassau. This was mostly eastern Suffolk County that got this, but very impressive. You can see the dark sky over there. Move this along again a little more. As the snow squall approaches, it's really impressive looking to see. And I wanted to cover this because this is so impressive. You can see how dark it is there. It would be funny. It would be interesting if there was any lightning with these, but really impressive. Here's a boat coming in. Looks like he was trying to beat the snow squall right here. It's the Shinnecock Fishing Dock in Hampton Bays, by the way, if you let's see on the bottom of the screen there. But yeah, he's trying to get in, I think, before the storm hits. You can see, look at how dark it's getting there. That's a snow squall right there. That was yesterday. And again, yesterday afternoon, late in the afternoon, there were some really impressive snow squalls. Look at that. That's beautiful, man. I wish I was there to take a picture of that because that's just what I love to see. We haven't had much of this year because we haven't had much Arctic air or Arctic fronts, which usually generate this kind of stuff. But you can see we had that instability yesterday. Here it comes. It's coming in now. You can see here. You can see it coming in. I'll push this ahead a little bit here. But I have to show you this because it's so impressive. Really is. You can see it's starting to get closer. Look at those dark clouds there. Really impressive. Yeah, it's starting to get closer and closer. Everybody's just getting out of here. It's like, that's it. We're getting out of here. Or maybe they're not getting out. But it's coming. You can see it's coming. We're going to watch the bridge disappear in a little bit. Yeah. It's coming. Yeah. Certain demographic over there, obviously, in the Hamptons. So you can start to see that's the Ponquag Bridge. They're starting to disappear as the snow squall moves in. I think more of like a snow squall, in my opinion. See, it's moving in now. Yeah. I have it sped up, so that's why they're going a little faster. I had the video sped up a little bit here. But look at that. Yep, there's the bridge. It's gone now, so you can see the snow squalls moving in. There it is. And it's starting to snow here, and it's going to go down like near, like almost whiteout conditions here in a moment. It's just cool to watch it come in. We'll just talk while it's coming in. You can see the snow. Here it comes. And again, I have it sped up, so that's why it's going 2 times. But really impressive to see the snow squall come in. Here it's coming in quick. It's moving at a good clip too. Probably moving at. Here it comes. Really. So I wish we had gotten some of these in Nassau County. I was kind of hoping we would, but no, we didn't. The last decent snow squall I had was, when I got kicked out of that Mineola parking garage for filming it. Remember that? That was the last time we had a snow squall here. It was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But yeah, that's definitely a snow squall. You can see, look at the flags moving on the boats. Really coming down here. And then I kind of slow it down, I think, to the regular speed, I think, to show you. I mean, that's really coming down there. Look at that. Eventually, I slow it down to regular speed. Yeah, here we go. I'll slow it down to, like, regular speed. Let's see what it looks like. There you go. That's what it looks like on regular speed. And I mean, it's just coming down. That's a whiteout right there. So I had to show you that because that was pretty impressive. And then, see, it's pretty quick moving, and then you can already start to see there's the sun coming out again. And look, there's another cumulonimbus cloud there. So really impressive to see. I figured I would definitely show that to you. But as far as today goes, close that out. We'll look at today. Today's weather, obviously, with the sun out. Though it seemed like there was a little bit of haze in the air. There was a lot of wind. I just took a very short walk at Pine Lawn because the wind was really just too much to deal with. There was some blue sky around, you could see, but that wind was just unbelievable. It was really it was hard to stand up. And tonight, winds have died down, and this is Camon's Pond, actually, a night photo of Camon's Pond in Merrick there with the stars. But anyway, the winds have died down, but they were really pretty. They were up there pretty much today. So let's look at what we got currently going on. Because the winds have dropped off, we already got radiational cooling. Westhampton's down to 19, 30 at Islip, 36 at Farmingdale, 39 at LaGuardia, so still holding on to upper 30s in the city. And let's see, Jersey, are they radiating right now? Not really. 32 in the Pine Barrens west of Toms River, but it is because they've got that cirrus around. But for most of us, you can see where the winds have dropped, it has really cooled off nicely. So first we're going to go over what Islip's been like lately. You can see that small craft advisory because of the wind. And we're going to look at some of these observations here at Islip because those winds were pretty incredible. So you can see, look at these wind gusts. Or in the middle, most of the day it was like this. Wind gusts up over in the afternoon over 36 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour, 37 miles an hour for much of the day. And it was very interesting because the wind was calm in the morning, and we actually got very cold in Islip. It got down to the upper teens because of the radiational cooling. And then all of a sudden, right around 8 o'clock, the wind machine just turned on like a flip of a switch. And the wind started gusting from the west and southwest. 38-mile-an-hour wind gusts there around 9 o'clock. So really could have used a wind advisory today, actually, with those winds. It was almost as bad as the other day. I thought it wasn't going to be like that, but it turned out to be pretty bad. And again, Islip, if we look at the peak wind gust today, was 38 miles an hour. Westhampton, their peak wind gust was 41 miles an hour. So, yeah, it's some pretty strong winds. Definitely a decent gale for sure. Let's load this now and look at what the day was like at Westhampton. You can see the radiational cooling. It's amazing how quick it started in once the winds died down. The last wind gust was 20 miles an hour at 5:10, and then the winds just dropped off to nothing after 6:30 at night. But during the day, you could see those wind gusts, 39 miles an hour, really just some substantial wind gusts for sure. Westhampton was really cold. In the morning, it actually dropped to the single digits with that snowpack. Wow, I knew it would get cold in the Pine Barrens. I didn't know it was going to get that cold. I was surprised that the winds actually dropped off. It's amazing how they can just drop off at night, and then during the day, they just crank. It's amazing how that happens. It's almost like you get like an inversion developing. That's what's going on. You got an inversion developing because of the snow on the ground. It actually helps cut the winds down at night, but that inversion is broken during the day. So let's go take a look at our highs and lows today. We're going to first start with the lows because oh my God. Westhampton got down to 3 degrees this morning. 3 degrees. That's right. Look at it right there. 3 degrees. That's incredible right there. That's just incredible. Islip got down to 18 and Farmingdale got down to 19. So a lot of teens. It's amazing what happened last night. The city, of course, only in the upper 20s. No radiational cooling there. What about Jersey? It got down to 17 at Miller Park, west of Toms River, 14 in Coylfield. Not quite as cold as Westhampton. Wow, 3 degrees at Westhampton. My gosh. High temperatures today were around, let's see, we had 39 at Islip, so still a little bit below normal, low 40 at Farmingdale. So generally upper 30s, generally around 40 degrees, 41 at LaGuardia, 40 at JFK, 40 at Central Park. Jersey, of course, being a lot warmer with mid-40s there. A lot warmer. Wow, much warmer there. They don't have the snow cover. A lot of whatever little snow cover they got in Ocean County, and they didn't get much. They just got an inch or two. It's gone now. The winds also help dry up the snow very quickly, too. So really impressive, very impressive. So let's look at the precipitation, the radar right now, because you'll see upstate, yep, they got a good snow squall actually going through. It looks like Oswego, It's going to be going through upstate New York, well upstate New York, Watertown into probably, let's see, if Plattsburgh might get into it too as well, into Vermont. This is an Arctic front that we're not going to see. Unfortunately, it's going to kind of just wash out. But for them, they're going to be much, much colder behind that Arctic front. But for us, you can see a couple of snow showers up around the into Scranton, up across maybe north of Poughkeepsie there. Not really a whole lot there to talk about. And then looking at the radar, this Florida has really been just dealing with the rain train. They've been dealing with the atmospheric river now, and they've been dealing with getting a lot of rain in Florida as well. Here comes another atmospheric river storm into California, another storm crashing into California. This is the problem why we haven't had any Arctic air. It's because of that damn fire hose. So let's talk about let's go to the satellite image. I think I showed the satellite image already, but let's pull the satellite image out and look at the CONUS view. So you can see there's that atmospheric river continuing. You can see that's connected all the way to the Pacific, which is absolutely crazy. But it's connected all the way to the Pacific, and it's going all the way up Florida, and then that's just what's actually causing the cirrus over parts of New Jersey and the Mid-Atlantic. Is that Pacific jet still just roaring away? This is a subtropical jet stream right here, just continuing to roar away down there. And looking across the country, you can see looks like there are, what do we got up here? Lake effect snow warning. So it's a lake effect. I guess it's lake effect enhanced snow with this Arctic front, I guess, because it looked to me more like a front to me on the radar. As far as Florida goes, got some small craft advisories there, and California dealing with more wind and rain and snow. You can see winter storm warnings for the mountains there with yet another system that they're dealing with. But yeah, they've had a lot of rain in Florida. If we were going to look at the precipitation, I could just go to 72 hours here, and you can see they've gotten a lot of rain there, too. It's a lot of rain that they've been dealing with. And California also has been getting a lot of rain as well with all these atmospheric river systems. Well, this new one is just coming in now, but you can see some numbers already. 4.07 in some of these areas. Some of these areas really, they're just dealing with a lot of flooding. High wind watch, actually, for California, 5 inches. They've just been dealing with, California used to be the place to go to in the winter, the sunny place. Now it's the rainy place because of these atmospheric rivers going on. It's pretty crazy, really. So let's go. All right, so we covered the satellite. Let's talk about our statistics for the day. And ice slip. We'll start with ice slip. High was 39. The normal high is 42. It's 3 degrees below normal. The low of 18 was 8 degrees below normal, giving us an average of 29, which was 5 degrees below normal. Central Park was running about 3 degrees below normal for the day as well. So, yeah, definitely a below normal day, and we'll continue with being below normal. However, I don't think it's going to change. We're going to look at the preliminary monthly for islip. I think we're still running above normal here. We're still running 4.1 degrees above normal for the month. So I think February, it's going to be alive for a very warm February, even though, especially when we get to the last couple of days this month, because we're going to warm up again. We're going to talk about the long range as well. So let's look at the weather map here, and you see there's those subtropical lows over Florida, bringing the rain. Here is these lows. This is the Arctic front here that just doesn't make it through to our area, and then we've got more storminess in California here. And if we actually go to the west, we'll look at the west now, U.S. Pacific coast here. Another crazy atmospheric river storm. Look at this thing, just pumped full of moisture here from the Pacific, and there may even be. Let's see if we get some lightning here. Yep, there is some lightning showing up. So it may even be some embedded convection there. So it's really crazy stuff what they've been dealing with there in California. This one's mainly going for Northern California, but they're getting rain in Southern California too. So let's go to the models. I guess that we took care of all that stuff, and we will move this along here. So, first, let me go look at the upper air. All right, so we're going to go to that first and look at the long range here. Just look at the long-range pattern that we're going to be going into here. We're first going to start with the jet stream here, and again, you see that big fire hose. That's the problem that we have, and as we move this along, you'll see we have the little troughiness in the east. Kind of continues through. We have a little bit of a block, a little bit for this week, which should keep us in some nice weather for a while. One more trough there in the east for the weekend, and then things start getting warmer as we start seeing the ridge develop in the east here. Though it's still some troughiness here, still showing some troughiness in this jet stream. But the main issue I like showing this is you can see that raging Pacific jet isn't going anywhere. There's the fire hose. It's not going anywhere, unfortunately. This is going into March now. We can look at the European model. So we'll go to the European now. On the and look at this pad. I don't think there are really many big differences here. A little bit deeper with the trough on the weekend, but we still got this split jet stream flow, heavy Pacific influence, and as long as you have that Pacific influence crashing into the west like that, the Arctic air is just not going to be allowed to come down south. Very little Arctic air. We had like one Arctic air outbreak, and that's it. Maybe go the whole winter with only one Arctic air outbreak, which is not good at all. So let's go to the upper air, 500. So here's again this weekend. You see that trough and lifts out. You see though we got that a subtropical low kind of, and we have ridging on top of it, which will keep us in a dry pattern. Here comes the next trough for the weekend. That'll bring in some colder air. Will it be Arctic air? I don't really see a connection for it, unfortunately. Maybe a little bit, but a lot of it's probably going to wind up going to the north again. And then we see that ridging again the last couple of days of February, and then it's showing GFS showing a really big trough. This is the 18Z run, of course, on March 4th. Now, I bet it's not there on March 12th. Yeah, March 12th, it's much weak. I meant not the 12. The 12Z is much weaker, but look at how much stronger the 18Z trough is. That could be, because this time you see they follow the isobars where they're going. That could be Arctic air. That could be Arctic air, perhaps, that could wind up coming down if you follow that. And that's what you need to get the Arctic air to come down here. We really desperately need one more Arctic outbreak before this winter is over. And we can still get it in March. It can still happen. So we'll have to see what happens with that. That's the GFS. So let's go to look at the European model now. See if there are any differences here. Doesn't look like it until we get to the weekend. Maybe you start seeing a little more there. The trough on the European looks a little different. And the European wants to continue to try to develop a coastal system, while the GFS does not. You can clearly see that on the upper air. But after that's passed, we have a trough in the west and a ridge in the east, which means lots of warm weather to wrap up the month. Both models agree on that. So let's go to the CONUS view, and we'll look at our temperatures. Our temperature anomaly chart, and we'll start first with the European. All right, so here's the European. All right, so we are below normal. Monday, we are still below normal, a little bit tomorrow, near average, I would say. And then we go actually below normal on Tuesday. We get a little bit of a bleed over of the Arctic air mass that's moving into northern New England on Tuesday. Maybe, but I don't think it's going to be just heavily modified Arctic air. And then as we get into Wednesday, temperatures, you see that big area of warmth that starts building to the east. It's above normal temperatures, much above normal for this week. But then we got one more shot of cold air for Saturday. Probably still polar air, but hey, the Euro is continuing to try to say maybe a little bit of Arctic air, a brief shot of Arctic air perhaps. And then after that, then we deal with just blowtorch weather for the rest of the month. And you can see just ridiculous warm anomalies for the rest of the month. So this February could go down as one of the warmest on record again, at least in North America, if not our area as well. Now looking at the GFS, you'll see here on the GFS going through this week. Similar thing here. You see that cold air. The core of that cold air just goes over northern New England. And then we have the second shot of cold air that comes down for next weekend. But you see the GFS is not as deep. It doesn't really have us getting into the Arctic air at all. And then after that, we've got the blowtorch again. But then as we get toward the end of the period, this is what it's showing here. It's showing an Arctic outbreak around March 4th, all right? But don't get too excited, because if I go to the 12Z run, all right, it's still showing it. It's still showing. What about the 0Z? 0Z doesn't show it. So we'll have to see what happens. The GFS wants to show this, and it wants to maybe bring down some Arctic air around the beginning of March. Perhaps we can get into some of that Arctic air. Perhaps we can. I'm not sure, but that's some impressive Arctic air right there. If that does verify, and that all boils down to the polar vortex. So if we go look at the northern hemisphere, you'll see here that we'll go to this over here. So looking at this, you'll see again, this is showing that split right there that happens. And it shows the polar vortex really weakening and splitting toward the end. However, if we look at the 12Z, it looks a little bit different, but perhaps we still may have a chance at some Arctic air one more time, maybe. I really hope and pray we do. So let's now go back to the CONUS view, and we will go look at the surface here. And we'll first start with the GFS, 18Z run of the GFS. So here's the 18Z run of the GFS for the surface. So high pressure builds over us. Eventually we get into a blocking pattern, which should give us plenty of sunshine, at least for the next tomorrow and Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we have to watch how far those clouds get from that ocean storm over there that's kind of stuck there again. And then here comes the cold front for Friday, and could bring some rain. Right now, it's looking like it's too warm for snow. The low kind of tracks right over us with that cold front, and then we have colder air building in for the weekend. And then there's another system that comes through on Monday, and then you can see that ridging that develops, showing a potential storm there, though it's going to be kind of warm on February 28th, and then it's showing another potential storm there. And then one of those two storms would bring down the cold air, and then boom, look at that. There's your Arctic air mass right there. And if this were to verify, let me just look at the temperatures here. Yeah, we would probably be only highs in the 20s probably on Monday, March 4th. So we'll have to see. That's a ways out, and we all know the GFS has done this before. Don't get too excited. Let's go to the European next. 12Z European. So let's go looking at the European. So it looks pretty similar to the GFS until we get to the weekend. The Euro wants to develop the low more to the south. All right, which could support snow and perhaps another dynamic style event like we had about a week ago. But I'll see it when I believe it. The European's it's also much weaker with the low. So I'm not so confident on that. And then after that, obviously, we're going to deal with the warmth. So let's take a closer look now at our area, and we'll first start with the HRRR as far as our dew points and wind flows go for the day here. So as we head into that wind was really just something today. I'll tell you now, it's not indicating that same kind of wind tomorrow. It'll be northwest winds. You'll see that colder air does try to make, especially if you're over Long Island, it looks like, and especially New England, you see there's get a piece of that, little tiny piece of that Arctic air. So tomorrow could wind up being colder than today, perhaps a little bit, especially over Long Island, especially over New England. And then Tuesday, we get the winds going north and northeast, and that could actually bring some of that in as well. So we'll probably have 2 more cool days before things start getting warmer again. Say cool because it's not that cold out there. It's just the wind made it feel. The wind was really just made it very difficult to walk. So going into tonight, obviously underestimating the lows. We're going to have teens in the Pine Barrens, probably, maybe even colder than that in some areas. And then 20s for everyone else, I think, tonight. And then tomorrow, if you're on Long Island, you're probably going to have upper 30s, mid to upper 30s. Jersey, probably around 40 or low 40s there, probably. And tomorrow night, it drops down a lot more. Tomorrow night is going to be a lot colder, I think. Tomorrow night, we're going to have lows in the teens for a lot of areas on Long Island possible, or at least low 20s. Everybody's getting below freezing. Jersey, that's questionable how cold you're going to get with that east wind. Probably not as cold. But if the winds drop off, especially with the radiational cooling, Pine Barrens areas could go down into single digits again. And then for Tuesday, we're showing, again, 30s, mid-30s only for Long Island. If you're in Jersey, probably upper 30s to around 40. Now we're going to look at some soundings and see how we're going to do with skies tomorrow. So we'll do 16Z. We'll first start with Long Island. Actually, this is Monday. Yeah, this Monday is tomorrow. It's President's Day. Feels like a Sunday, but it won't be. That looks pretty good. Looks like a clear sky. What about New Jersey? Also looking pretty good as well. The lines are pretty far apart. And for Tuesday, I don't think we're going to be able to get for Tuesday on this. So let's go move this along to the GFS, and we'll go ahead and look at our dew points and wind flow as we move on. So dew points and wind flow, you see, again, the northwest flow there, and you can see, again, the core of that Arctic air going over New England. We get a tiny taste of it again Tuesday. Winds go northeast and then east. It's probably going to want to bring more clouds in later in the day and Tuesday, especially for Wednesday. We got a southeast wind continuing with and then it becomes a southerly wind by Thursday. That brings in the warmer temperatures, though more likely over New Jersey. And then here comes that low pressure system for Friday. You can see it doesn't really show a whole lot of moisture with it. We'll have time to get a better idea right now of how strong that low pressure will be. It's too soon to say, but right now it does not look like a snow event. Behind that low pressure, northwest winds take over, and then we get into that colder air. And this looks like again some more of a chance at maybe some more Arctic air for next weekend, perhaps. Maybe that could be Arctic air, perhaps, but it's not until we get toward that's Arctic air. That's what we're talking about right there. That's what we want. All right, so let's look at our temperatures now. So obviously we'll have that moderation by Wednesday. We're already in the 40s. Thursday, it could be 50 over Jersey, 40s probably over Long Island because of the southerly flow. Obviously with the clouds, it won't really get all that warm, I don't think, especially on Long Island with the southerly flow off the ocean. But if Jersey could be warmer. Then after that storm on Friday, Saturday we're in the 30s, and then raising to maybe close to 40 on Sunday. And then it's this that we got to watch out for, that warmth that we have for the last final days of February. But the GFS is saying no. The GFS looks like it's got stall front syndrome over here, and we may be stuck in the cold air, perhaps. That's what it's looking like on this. And then that plunge comes in. So that's kind of interesting to see, huh? So if we look at the precipitation here, which I'm going to go here, I'll do this. Just show you that stall frontal situation could set up. The GFS seems to think it will set up. Doesn't look like a stall front on here, but you can see a couple of rain. Yeah, this would be it right here. So you can see a stall front and a couple of storm systems kind of riding along it to end the month, which wouldn't mean things would be as warm. However, this is the 18Z run. So I'm going to go back to the temperatures here and show that stall front and see if I got to get back to it. Because if we look at the 12Z, oh, it's still showing it. Okay. So it may not warm up as much. We'll have to see what happens. It's showing a lot of cold air damming, which would not mean above normal or as above normal as originally thought. So we'll have to see what happens with that, obviously. But we'll tell you the Climate Prediction Center because they're not buying that. So let's go to the skies next. So here are the skies. All right, we got to back it up to here. All right, so here are your skies. Tomorrow, it shows mostly sunny conditions across the area. Not many clouds. Tuesday, showing some clouds over Jersey, over the ocean with that easterly flow, but has Long Island mostly sunny. Clouds kind of come in the evening, and they're with us a little bit on Wednesday. But still, just mainly a mix of sun and clouds. Probably looks like high or mid-level clouds. And then more clouds for Thursday, and then Friday, obviously, with the system. And then behind that, hopefully maybe on the weekend we clear up. It all depends on instability, cloudiness. Honestly, it's too far to guess the skies that far. I mean, generally with sky forecasts, I only really feel comfortable going 3 days. Beyond that, it gets really difficult. So let's look at the RGM here, which is our other sky model. And it's showing mostly sunny skies for tomorrow. And then Tuesday, you can see the similar deal here. This is Tuesday. It's showing fairly clear skies, maybe a little bit of cloudiness over Jersey with that easterly wind. And then Wednesday, it'll bring in more of those clouds in off the ocean, I think. So, lastly, we'll talk about the long range. In the 6 to 10 day, obviously, you can see much above normal temperatures in the center of the country. Near normal, though, on the 6 to 10 day on the East Coast and below normal on the West. Precipitation way above normal on the West Coast. We're near normal precipitation, lower than normal in the South. and above normal in the Great Lakes. When we move it to 8 to 14 day, that above normal comes to us, and this would be, again, the last days of February, February 26th to March 3rd, way above normal and below normal in the west as far as temperatures go, but above normal, everything east of the Rockies, a good chance of, excellent chance of above normal temperatures, with also above normal precipitation. So we'll have to deal with more of that four-letter word that starts with R again as we get toward the end of this month. But that's pretty much what it looks like right now. So I want to thank you for watching this Long Island Weather Outlook and Update. Have a good night.